So, what happens when a strain of virus crosses from one species to another? It could die out, but then what happens again is that that virus can become more deadly than it's supposed to be. So, in the 1920s, what happened was that we had the Spanish flu. Spanish flu is what we consider H1N1 virus. H1N1 virus is a bird flu. It's a bird. It comes from avian. It comes from birds. Okay. So between 17 to 100 million people died. 17 to 100 million people. We do not know the estimates because we do not have the records that we can talk about right now. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because the first case of H5N5 virus has just been recorded by a Washington man right now in fucking Washington. I don't know where the fuck. Yeah, it's bird flu. We just went through COVID like 4 years ago. Viruses are not technically alive. Um, I how do I say this? Bacteria are alive. Bacteria is a living organism, but a virus is not. It's in a gray area of science where we actually do not know if they're alive or they're what they are because viruses do not have any cellular structure. They do not have independent metabolism. They cannot reproduce independently and they do not have any growth, what we call homeostasis. So technically, they're not alive. They need to hijack a host to reproduce, but they're not technically alive. That's why when you get a cold, for example, or the flu, your own body, you have white blood cells in your body that have to combat that cold. So the white blood cells have to kill the virus. There's no cure. You cannot take an injection, an antibiotic, and then the virus gets killed. It doesn't happen like that. That's the science doesn't work that way. That's why we have to keep with the science because you know as human beings as we progress and we understand our understanding of the world and life as we go forward, we have to understand and make sure that we are going the right direction. Viruses do not, they're not alive. So, whatever the science tells us, we should follow because H5N5 is the variant of the bird flu. So, okay, let's go back a little bit. I think maybe I have this on my mind, but I need to tell you guys. So, what happens is that when a virus crosses from a species to another species, for example, what can be lethal to a human being cannot be lethal, for example, to a dog because of the genetic makeup of a dog, for example. Okay, we are mammals, but then we have birds. The thing about birds is that when they're, if a bird has a cold, it crosses over to a mammal, it could be lethal to us. That's why we have H5. We had the Spanish flu in the 1920s, which killed between, like I said, approximately 70 million people died because of this. There's civilizations which have died because of viruses. And, okay, oh, fuck. They've died because of viruses, but we have to make sure. For example, HIV virus. They The history is that it crossed over from a monkey to a human being. It's not lethal to the monkey, but it is lethal to humans. For example, that's what they say. But the thing about it is that now that we have the H5N5 virus, which has just came out, that means the transmission has come from a bird to a human being. That means that human becomes has the ability to transmit this virus to another human being. That's why we get the pandemic. That's how we get the pandemic. For example, the COVID virus, they talk about bats. They talk about the bat. It came from bat to a human being because a human being ate a bat and then it was transmitted to the human being. And that human had the ability to transmit that virus to other humans and it became a pandemic. Our genetic makeup is basically the most important thing that we have as humans right now. We have been through years and years, decades, centuries of viruses, bacteria, fungi that have made us immune to these things. They do not hurt us because of what is called the herd immunity. We have been exposed to this. For example, if a rock was to fly from the moon and land on Earth, it can transmit all the viruses to us, and we're not going to have the immunity for it. So right now, we're seeing, which was reported the other day, the H5N5 virus in a Washington man. CDC is definitely on this case because as much as you want to deny this shit, okay, guys, I gotta tell you guys one thing. Human stupidity is the reason why we have been having is the reason why humans died out, civilizations died out. The Egyptians, the Mayans, the Aztec. We have a history of this human stupidity. That's what we have right now. That's what you're seeing around yourselves right now. Human stupidity. We have nuclear bombs, which we have idiots in charge of that shit, and then human stupidity. Let's go back. The virus has been found, CDC's on it. Transmission to human beings is possible. It can literally, like the COVID virus, what happened with the COVID-19 virus is it was transmitted to human beings and then it became a pandemic across the world. And people refused to take the vaccine after the scientists took the sample of the virus, which I'm telling you guys is not alive. It's technically not alive. You have to. My God, I don't even know how to explain this shit, man. Follow the science, man. Put money into science research. As a species, that's how we are going to survive. Genetic makeup, what our genes are able to fight right now. When mad cow disease was in Britain, remember, guys, Britain, it killed the cows there completely. America refused to accept that mad cow was there, but it was there and it killed. They had to burn all the cows. Right now, we have the H5N5 virus recorded in a human being. If you guys are not thinking about the next pandemic, get your vaccine. The day that they put out the vaccine, don't talk about all that bullshit. Go get yourself fucking injected with that bullshit. Go get yourself an injection because viruses don't fucking play. They're not alive. Like, share, and subscribe.